Hey everyone. So in this module, we're going to look at what is color keying or chroma keying. And we're going to dive into keying green screen or blue screen footage. But before that, let's take a brief look at what color keying is and why it even exists. So the color keying process was actually started being used about 60 years ago, a really long time ago. It was a clever solution to a difficult problem. And the problem was, how do we take an actor and maybe sometimes the settings around that actor and place them into a scene where the actor cannot be or maybe should not be there for safety reasons. Um, there are also cases where it was just simpler or more economical to take a shot on a stage. For example, for both stylistic and budget reasons, it's a lot simpler to shoot an actor in a car on a stage than to do a complicated car-to-car shoot, which would probably involve getting permits and a lot more hassle. So the solution was that we can use one color to stand in for transparency. In the earliest days, this was a blue screen. And the blue also contained a good deal of green. So blue and green were used to play against the red colors in the scene. And later it was found that computers can start with basically the same principle, and that green is actually digitally even more separate than from red or blue. So for most part, foreground subjects with flesh, which has a lot of red in it, and so red, generally speaking, isn't a really great choice for our screen. So we ended up using green screens and blue screens today simply because no other reliable method has yet been devised to distinguish foreground from background and also retain the fine edge details. And it's the quality of the edges that makes color keying a better choice than other alternatives such as luma keying, which uses only the light levels and is generally much cruder, or rotoscoping, which is generally a lot more work intensive than using green or blue screen. So as a recap, chroma keying or color keying is a process by which we can separate a foreground subject from background by filtering out a range of certain colors to create the transparency. The screen itself should be evenly lit when we get the footage and captured in a proper exposure, while the subject might be lit separately and dressed with none of the colors in the background. So for example, if we're shooting a bunch of folks in the scene and we're using a green screen, then the people should not be wearing green. Once the footage is in After Effects, us as visual effects artists try to seamlessly blend the background and the subject to the background plate in a believable way, drawing attention to the details of things like edges and foreground subject. So in the upcoming modules, we'll be focusing on the keying basics.